I would say 2,000 to 3,000 at a minimum. It may be as high as 4,000, 4,500 just in this group that don't work for another firm, that are solos or small firms, and they have no idea these type of techniques on how to run their business and be successful.
Right.
And they actually also deflate the market and don't serve their clients as well because of certain business things that inhibit them to be a good attorney that make them not as good as they could be, and they have no idea. 1, 2, 3, go.
Jennifer Hardy, har har.
Believe it or not.
Welcome to the Lawyer Dana Show.
The Lawyer Dana Podcast.
Wow, we have a lot to talk about.
And we're going to do it right after this.
Welcome to the Lawyer Dana Podcast.
So I just got an email from the daughter of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Seriously, this is true. And apparently her father deposited $11.5 million into a United States bank account, and they asked me to help them get it for him.
Wow.
I was promised a sizable chunk of money. I'm going to retire and live the high life from that.
I think you're full of crap.
I think whoever sent that email is full of crap. That's called an email scam. And lawyers get them all the time, and they're usually pretty obvious, and we don't fall for them. Some law firms have fallen for that, though.
A lot of people fall for that.
A lot of people, especially elderly people, fall for that.
I've gotten several myself.
You should never click links
in
emails unless you know the sender. And even then, you still need to be careful and use a secure email program. And never, ever, ever click any link in a text message unless you absolutely know that it's safe, and that's hard to know.
Right. Or don't take the phone calls of, you have back taxes. The IRS is trying to get a hold of you. The IRS doesn't try to get a hold of you that way.
They send you a letter.
Yes.
And they give you a number to call. And you have to be careful with that. They send you a letter and you need to Google that letter, their number, and look it up in multiple sources to find out. And
so many scams.
There's actually an official IRS number. I don't have it pulled up handy. Maybe we can put it, or maybe not. But there is an official IRS number that you can call to verify whether or not somebody from the IRS is actually trying to contact you.
Oh, yeah.
And they will never ask you for cash.
You should always Google every number that tries to contact you to tell you something.
You also have to be careful, though, because if your computer has been hacked and you Google it, they will send up a fake Google page and give you a fake number that you think you're verifying that the number is correct, and you're actually verifying this number. You're verifying the fraud number. That isn't a next level type of fraud, but that does happen.
And if they say, who am I speaking with? Don't give them your name.
Correct. And do not ever give out your social security number over the phone.
And don't say yes.
Correct. Don't say yes. So today, we got some fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go through some memes out of a group called the Texas Lawyers Lounge. And it's a lawyers-only group. And on Fridays, we do Meme Friday. And there's a guy named Eugene Heller. What's his last name? Starts with an H. Holler? I don't know. I'm going to holler back at him. But he started this thing years ago, and every Friday he announces it. And there's usually like 200 or 300. Haller. Eugene Haller. And he just puts hashtag Meme Friday, and he puts up his meme, and then everybody comments to it. So today is Friday. And and he puts it up like Thursday evening. There's 195 of them already.
Oh, wow.
And so I have to like click through and do like the view previous comments. I'm going to try and sit here and click all the way back to the beginning and go on the first ones. And we now have the capability that we can show my computer screen. And so we'll maybe show the meme, or maybe I will. Here's one that is going to be. This one should be funny to show. We'll see if our tech is going to work right. We're really advanced on this particular podcast here. All right, Rick, can you pull that one up? You got it? So is inflation affecting your family? 124% said no, and 195% said yes.
Oh my gosh.
So All right, Rick. We can go back out. Do you switch back these? Do you switch them back quickly? Okay. So. Here's another one. So when your friend starts driving at 150 miles an hour and says, "I should have sold, bro."
Oh my gosh.
What? What is this one? Okay. Jar Jar Binks will not be in the Disney Obi-Wan series, which Rick's dying to see. That apparently came out last night. I thought it came out tonight.
Hey, I'm grateful for that. He gets on my nerves.
Well, somebody's comment was, another outspoken conservative canceled by liberal Hollywood. All right. There is, okay, show this one. Show this one, Rick. So we need something that you can see here. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should do a screen share with you and then show to him if we could do that. But it's a painting, mm-hmm. and it says, "I am enough, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough." It's like a framed, sign, like one of those motivational posters.
Uh-huh.
And the comment is, for only $10.99, you can let every visitor to your house know that you're struggling.
Oh my God.
All right. So when I haven't looked at these in a long time, like it's like maybe a year since I've looked through any of these things. Mm-hmm. And Summer was talking about it with me at breakfast this morning, and
mm-hmm.
she goes, yeah, every Thursday night you used to sit up and like giggle and laugh in bed at these things, and you used to keep me awake. So I know you haven't been watching them. All right. Okay, this is about the domestication of dogs. The wolf. I'm going to eat your babies. The human. What if instead I give you blankets and peanut butter? The wolf. I'm listening.
So what's your meme?
My meme?
Yeah, what would you post?
What would I post?
Uh-huh.
I did one this morning.
Uh-huh.
So, and it really, like, I got lucky with like how my eyes went in the camera angles. Like mm-hmm. it's like 5 memes in one mm-hmm. that you could really pull out of it. And it was, somebody posted, like, they were complaining. So here's a good lesson. So they were complaining about when, like, people in the real world come up to you and they find out that you're a lawyer, and they immediately start asking you questions. Mm-hmm. And they were like, they go, friends from high school or acquaintances from high school, or people you knew from high school, even ones that you don't like, that call you up 20 years later asking for free advice. And they're like, oh no, and there was this whole list, like, I don't go to those lunches, oh God, that's the worst thing, and whatever. And my reply was, are we showing this? I can't show this one, but I can look it up. My reply was that, come on, let me see. It's going to take me a second. So, Jennifer, tell us about your day while I'm looking for this.
Oh, my day's been crazy. Let's not talk about my day.
Your day has been crazy?
Yeah.
Today has been crazy?
Yes.
Why? Is it because you have a brand new kindergarten graduate and a brand new high school graduate?
Yes.
Is he 18 and graduated?
Yes.
So it's adoption time, yeah?
Yeah.
For Mr. Daniel Bomer.
Yeah.
And Mr. Zach Slack.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be Zach Slack Bomer?
I don't know what he's going to do.
Is he going to drop Slack? Because that's a great alliteration.
You know, he likes the name because he's had it forever, and it's funny. It goes together. I
think he follows that as his motto sometimes. Is he a slacker?
Yeah. The slacker. Oh my gosh.
You're like, yeah, my kid's a slacker. It's okay.
Well, I will say it's not really a slacker. He
only graduated summa cum laude in high school.
Yep. And he turned in the most volunteer hours of anybody in his graduating class. He did 198 volunteer hours. So, and he worked, and he ran track, and did football. So, got to give him somewhat of a break.
That's pretty good.
And he's a very outgoing individual. So, Parents, best advice I can give you with your children, and this is something I learned like almost before he graduated, is when I realized he is such an outgoing personality that socialization is so important to him. Like,
Yeah.
he needs to be around his friends. He needs to have that ability. And
Maybe he should start a podcast.
he, you know what? I will say this much. After I observed him and just seen all this, I realized really quickly, like, academics was not everything for him.
But he graduated summa cum laude.
He still graduated. I mean,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And he's a very
Or
smart
as Daniel
kid.
Tosh says, high school, wow, how'd you do it?
No, he, I don't know. I'm very proud of him. I mean, he's a kid. Makes mistakes, done some things. But, at the end of the day, he's been a really good kid. And
Yeah, overall.
he worked really hard.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see what life and God has for him.
Has he filled out 100,000 scholarship applications?
I don't know.
What was that one girl in his class? How much did she get?
So he had a girl in his class that got $1.7 million in scholarships.
If you're a high school senior, your occupation, the most money that you can ever make in life as a kid like that is, unless you have some kind of business that you've done,
Right.
even working at McDonald's or doing stuff which has a huge amount of value. Do not get me wrong. I love to see McDonald's on somebody's resume. McDonald's or Disney.
Well, my
Because they
son
teach
works
you
for
really
Chick-fil-A.
well.
And
Or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A has
Chick-fil-A may
been-
be the best one out of all of them.
I will say what he has learned, invaluable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, we should have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
So here's the one. I found it. This was posted by a Facebook group called Lawyer Issues. I can say that because it's one that somebody just reposted. But I can't identify the lawyers or can't identify who made the comments. But I can just talk about comments that some lawyers make. Because I don't want to break the rules and then have them be mad at me and get kicked out. So I'll identify what I said. And if, but otherwise it's anonymous. So that said, appeasing my colleagues, because lawyers are a little moody and testy and like off. But they go, lawyers that know the people who are asking to no, not that, no. I messed it up already. I seem to do okay talking, but reading, yeah, I'm just a lawyer. That's all I do for a living. Lawyers know that the people who are asking to reconnect and catch up with them after many years are after free legal advice. And then one of the lawyer who reposted it said, if they ask you to lunch, run. Your $15 burger is $350 worth of advice.
That is true.
The lawyers piled on. But here's what makes Dana Palmer and the lawyer Dana, why I have the Dana Magic and what the value of the Dana Magic is and why people should hire me to be their coach. Because here, my comment, there's a lot. So here's how I responded. I said, it depends on who it is. But usually, I don't choose to look at it that way. I go to the lunch, and I go to nurture a referral source, just like any other referral source. High school acquaintances are one of the best referral sources ever. They remember you, and they feel bonded. I go, and I'll pay for the lunch. Then I make tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars from that lunch over time. I go, enjoy the lunch, and ask them all about themselves and build that relationship. And I determine if they should set a consultation with me. Or perhaps I even let the lunch be the consultation and they get a client agreement in their email after it. And we get a $5,000 to $50,000 retainer. If they give an indication on initial contact with us, when they say, hey, I want to go to lunch or I want to talk to you about something, and that it's a family law case, then we have them sign up and pay for a consultation. And I turn down the lunch and I explain to them that we want to do a consult in a private place, not in public, about something like that. And we can't talk about it in public. I mean, that's the way that's handled. And the problem is I'm looking at dozens of lawyers in here that have no clue. No one's ever taught that to them.
Right.
I've learned that from extensive levels of experience and many coaches teaching on how to do these things.
Well, you're also building your reputation, because now that person, whoever it was, is thinking highly of you, and then when they're talking to everybody else, they're talking about you your
Exactly.
name just keeps being used.
And if you've bought them lunch,
Right.
I can't buy advertising
No.
at that price.
No, it's a gift.
It's
You're
a
giving,
gift.
You're giving them a gift.
It is an opportunity. Anything in your day-to-day life, wherever you are, you should actually live and work where you play,
Right.
because the people that you meet out there, you are a gift to them and they're a gift to you. How else do you expect to meet people and have
Right.
people talk in the world? I mean, you're killing your business if you don't do that.
Right.
And at any given time, it's like people are walking up, and if they handed you an actual $1,000 right there, would it snap you out of this nonsense?
Right.
I mean, it's funny and people get it.
Right.
But there's the joke, and then there's the reality of how to actually do it. And so
out of all these attorneys, how many of them are running their own business versus
most
of them versus
that's the problem.
Versus
They have no idea.
working. For
No one's
someone
ever
else.
taught them.
Yeah.
There's a group, and there are, I would say, 2,000 to 3,000 at a minimum. It may be as high as 4,000, 4,500 just in this group that don't work for another firm, that
Right.
are solos or small firms, and they have no idea these type of techniques on how to run their business and be successful.
Right.
And they actually also deflate the market and don't serve their clients as well because of certain business things that inhibit them to be a good attorney, that make them not as good as they could be, and they have no idea.
Right.
But once they learn it, they like want to punch themselves in the face.
Right.
You go, why didn't I do this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? When it finally hits them, a lot of them will have this like deep sense of regret. And one of the things I have to do as a coach is go, yeah, that's part of it. Welcome that. That happened for you, not to you. It happened for you. Embrace that, because the gift is now you know. And now the whole rest of your life begins, and you've solved that problem. You no longer have that problem. You've been cured.
Well,
you now have a coach, and we're going to teach you and show you how to do all this. And if you incorporate just little things of this, I give a lot of this stuff online and to this group and things. But the problem is that a lot of this in here, it's easy to disregard.
Right.
And really, until someone pays for it and sits down with a coach, they don't value the advice. Free advice is worth nothing. It's worth what they paid for it. And a lot of that's the same thing and same problem that clients have if they are online trying to Google the solution to their problem. And it can't be Googled. Nothing about their divorce. They might Forrest Gump their way through it and get lucky, but then they come and analyze it after the fact. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, did you know about this? Did you know about, and then like you see them like go white as a ghost. I don't even like doing it with a lot of them anymore because they've already made the mistake and can't come back from it. And then they realize, wow, I lost more money than you would have cost. And a lot of times it's, oh my God, I just spent it in taxes. I could have hired you for $20,000 and you would have saved me $50,000 in taxes just from that one little thing. And you would have done all the rest of it for me too. And there's just a dread. You just see the dread come over them. Please, like, go see the lawyer first. Just ask them.
Right.
And if you go to the right lawyer, they're not going to necessarily encourage you to either especially if it's for a divorce, they're not going to encourage you to get a divorce or not get a divorce. But I will tell you, there's plenty of times where I tell people you have to get a divorce. You're already divorced. You're just being manipulated. Yeah. You're not in a marriage. And you really have to have your definition and clarity about what exactly a healthy marriage is and whether you have one or not. Because we had one in our career in the past 15 years. I'll give one example of someone who is, or they'll have a situation where one side files for divorce and then the other side, begs them to come back, and then they non-suit. But, we're going to live apart and you're still going to pay me a lot more money. And basically they keep them as this, I keep hitting this mic. I keep they keep them basically as a slave because they're trying to do the right thing, and the other person is just greedily and selfishly manipulating them. And there's some kind of financial advantage to being married, but we're going to live separately, and what's mine is mine, and what's yours is half mine.
Right.
And when we get a divorce, I'm going to still take half of the rest of what you got. So that way I can get, I can drag you on and manipulate you for the next 10 years, but because of your love of God and your desire to not get a divorce, that they'll hang on to their detriment, thinking, oh, there's something that can be saved. In the meantime, the other person's like having an affair with somebody else. They've moved on. They're just continuing financial abuse. But the spouse that's imprisoned is a winning lottery ticket to them. I mean, if somebody's giving you $10,000 a month, who gives away a $10,000 a month winning lottery ticket?
No one.
No one. Right? And so some people have to have the courage, and I have to tell them, you have to file for divorce. That is the thing. I know you don't want to, but you have to.
Right.
You shouldn't want to. I don't want you to, but you have to. And a lot of times when people are in an unhealthy marriage, your marriage is the demonstration of what marriage is to your children. How would you feel if your children grow up and have a marriage like you have? Well, how do you think your parents feel about yours? And the subconscious equates familiarity with safety, even if it's not. So your kids are most likely to grow up and manifest in their life from their subconscious a marriage like you have. Because when their spouse reacts, or who they're dating reacts negatively like their mom or their dad did, they're going to be attracted to that and think, oh, it's something wrong and this is how it's supposed to be. No, we're in love. And that's where the beginning of the prison, that's where the prison door slams behind them, and they become owned as a slave, as a prisoner. And then they work and work and work, trying to make this work, trying to make it work. And when both sides are not actually doing that, sometimes when both sides are trying to do it, the marriage can't work.
Right.
But if both sides are not trying to do that, the marriage definitely is not going to work, period. Not going to happen.
Well, going back to what you just said about attorneys not knowing, we talked about this before. They don't teach you business in law school.
Correct.
So
not at all.
Business 101 is networking.
Exactly.
Go to business school, they're going to teach you need to network. And
do they? Because I went to business school in undergrad and they didn't.
Maybe they don't teach you that stuff. Maybe that's just stuff you learn on the field. But I mean, I learned that very quickly. That
I learned that in the restaurant industry.
Yeah, networking is the most important thing.
A lot of people came in and asked for me to wait on them.
Well, yeah.
You give them give them your business card. You say ask for me, and you give them you mail them a thank you gift, or not a gift, but a thank you card.
Right.
And like if it was their anniversary or their birthday, you send them a happy birthday card.
Yeah.
And from Dana, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And you mail that to them. Talk about ices the cake.
Yeah. I mean, you can spend millions of dollars on marketing, but the best marketing tools are
the fundamentals.
It's like just doing stuff for people.
Exactly.
And and what we used to do is, customize their menus. Happy anniversary. How many years have you been married? Like if they said it was their anniversary. Oh, we've been married 25 years. And they come in and it's like happy 25th anniversary on the top of their menu.
Yep.
Like, that was a big deal.
That is a big deal.
People took it with them.
Absolutely.
Some people
we took ours.
Them.
We had our anniversary party for the firm at Bob's before you worked with us. And we still have those.
Yeah. I mean, it's memories and it creates that impression. So, yeah, I would say that, with attorneys right now, with the meme, I get it. I mean, if you're constantly being bombarded by people, I get it. It's your time. It's your energy.
That goes to somebody else answering your phones and doing those things. But
my husband deals with it. I mean, he gets it at church or he'll get it at, he has people from high school that reach out to him through Facebook or whatever. He deals with it a lot. He probably spends, average a few hours a week talking to people about different things. But at the end of the day, it's brought business to the firm.
Yep.
I've seen people hire us.
Most of the time when I do it, it's, do you need a lawyer or not? Mm-hmm. And if it is, then I refer somebody to them.
Right.
And that's the other thing. if you don't do that, you've also killed some of your bait.
Right.
Because if they could have needed a personal injury attorney or a criminal defense attorney or a business attorney, something, whatever it is, some area of law that we don't do, and we could have referred them to that person, and because we sent them a referral, then they'll send us a referral and we get another family law case.
Well, I think, again, I can't speak for every attorney. I can't speak for every doctor out there. But I would think that a person that became a doctor, their ultimate goal was to try to help and save people, correct? I would think that a person that became an attorney at one point or another, maybe they wanted to get rich, but,
You'd be surprised, not really.
Yeah.
Most people is about the work and about helping people.
Yeah, helping
it's
people.
Not, you're not really motivated by the money. In fact, you have a huge amount of fear that whether you're going to make money at all. Because you're going to come out of law school and the average is like $65,000, and you come out with some people are coming out with $350,000 worth of school debt. Like, that would make me want to put a...
Well, one of my friends, she says one of her first favorite memories of me was I met them at a baseball game from our middle son, and they were asking what does your husband do? And I said my husband's an attorney, and then I was like, but don't think we're rich, because we're not. By no means. Just because I'm married to an attorney does not mean we're rich. Attorneys are not all rich. And then she said, she just was laughing. She said to that day, she was like, I just knew I liked you because you were just so real about it. And because a lot of impressions are,
it's a massive struggle at first.
They're
I mean,
rich. I
have one of my absolute best friends, and my best friend growing up has always been richer than me. Always. Because he started a job and I went to college, and I was at zero, negative.
Right.
And he's on a steady incline. And then in later years, I've hockey pucked, but I still never caught the steady incline of him.
Right. Well, that goes for me and my husband. I mean, I went to college. I went to A&L. I got into A&L, decided to drop out of A&L.
This is where she's about to tell you that she made more money than her husband for a while.
I did. I went to junior college, got my associate's degree, took a break, was like, you know what? I need a break from school. I'm just going to work. Became a manager at 21. And from that point, was like, well, how am I going to do school? I'm working 50, 55 hours a week. So I just kept pushing school off and just focused on my career. And, there's been years I made more money than Daniel.
Yeah.
And nothing against him, but it's just that was my path. And
well, that's a normal and good path.
Yeah.
People don't pay attention to that enough.
And I didn't have debt. I had no school loan debt.
Has Daniel paid his loans off?
He's almost there. But no.
He's how old?
44.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
My friend that I was talking about a minute ago has never had any debt. No school debt. Why would you that's okay, he's going to start the race 4 years ahead of you. And then he's going to start the race $250,000 net income ahead of you. That's how many more years, especially if you started at 65,000? That's 10, 12 years worth of torture.
Right.
Before you even catch his zero.
Well, and this is what I'm going to say to any kid out there that's graduating high school or about to graduate high school. Don't be ashamed about if you decide you don't want to go to college and you want to do trade
especially
school.
Nowadays. All of the knowledge is available to you.
What kids should be looking at, being an electrician, being a plumber.
Yeah.
I will tell you what, some of the richest people
Absolutely.
I know in our area.
If you're a plumber who knows how to run your business,
be a
holy
master
cow.
plumber
Absolutely.
and know how to run a business.
Absolutely.
I also have some friends that they have a company where they do electrician, plumbing, fencing, everything. I mean, they have probably 60 trucks on the road. They are just doing really well. And he knows how to run a business. He's got great employees that work for him. He's great to his employees. And, you can make a ton of money doing it. I know some other people, own
I agree.
fencing and things like that. So
Before you
Yeah.
waste money, and I mean,
So I'm not discouraging
Seriously,
college,
about a
but
business
I'm
degree?
saying that it's
I mean-
not always for everybody.
exactly. I mean, maybe the Wharton School has a decent business program. Maybe the Cox School of Business at SMU. Maybe there's some out there. But quite
You know,
honestly,
had a great business
quite
school.
honestly, I think the best way for you to learn how to do business, start a business and hire an attorney. Don't pay a month of, don't pay it 2 semesters or a year.
Or work for a really good company.
Or work for a really good
that
company
you
and be
can
an
learn
entrepreneur in that
from
company.
them. Yes.
And that is, we need to do a lot of episodes on what I
highly
mean.
recommend before you start a business to work for a really good company that you can grow and learn from.
Absolutely.
And then try to do it yourself. Like, for example, look at Chick-fil-A and all the things they have mastered. I mean, they have mastered the drive-through.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is
Unbelievable.
nobody that does it better than them,
Yep.
So I would highly recommend, like, if your goal is to own your own fast food chain, work for the best fast food chain out there.
Yeah.
And learn
For fast food,
everything
Chick-fil-A, they're second to
you
none.
can possibly can.
They are better than McDonald's. McDonald's has their stuff really well lined out, but Chick-fil-A
Yes.
is even another level.
And the quality, look
Yeah.
at the quality.
Absolutely.
It's much better than McDonald's. So that's
Although I do like Raising Cane's and even,
I do
even
like
Lane's.
Raising.
I like actually
Yeah.
both of those better.
Yeah.
But I don't eat fried food anymore, so I can't eat at any of the
Right.
3 of them at all.
You could eat Chick-fil-A.
I think Chick-fil-A has like a grilled.
They have
and I-
grilled.
And I got it once. I wasn't that impressed, but I'll try it again.
They have a really good salad. Get
Oh,
their
do they?
Get it their market salad.
Oh.
Best salads for a fast food restaurant.
I can go to Chick-fil-A again.
Yes, they have a market salad.
This podcast is worth it, guys. We should get some Chick-fil-A for lunch today. And this episode is sponsored by Chick-fil-A for no money. We receive no money from that. We won't even get free Chick-fil-A probably. I don't know. If you own a Chick-fil-A and you want to send us some free Chick-fil-A, send us some free Chick-fil-A. Or we'll get a coupon or something.
I'll send it to Zachary's boss who owns
There you go.
3 of them.
Yeah, give Zach do they give him a graduation thing? Like if they graduate?
They actually did. He
I
got
bet
a
they
little, He
did.
got a little cow with a little with the
Nice.
tassel and everything.
Nice.
He got they gave him some gift cards and
Nice.
yeah, they are just awesome.
Awesome.
So
Well, let's go to because there's more comments about this one, and
what did anybody comment to your response?
yeah, there's a few strains because there's about three or four maybe of different comments, but on that one, I got 3 likes, including mine. I always like my own posts, Why not? One more count, like it's a vote, Hey,
Social media, number one, one-on-one.
I
You
believe,
don't like your own post.
I believe in liking my own posts. Like your own posts. There's nothing wrong with liking your own
Oh
posts.
my gosh.
All right, so, and one guy says, "Is it just me, or does every social outing feel like a consultation?" So on that, you're using the wrong skills then.
Yeah.
And yes, they're going to do that to you, and every outing is going to kind of be like a consultation, because as a lawyer, you actually are a celebrity, whether you're known or not. You've done something that requires a license in order to do, and if somebody tries to do it without a license, it's a 3rd-degree felony.
Right.
And it's you are at a different level because you have all these rules that you have to follow and confidentiality and things like that. But you have your friends, and you have. It's hard to to know like where the line is between friends and then there's people that you don't know. I talk with my hands too much. We're gonna have to get me a right in front of me stand that, like Conan had.
Yeah. Well, people are impressed.
Get on Amazon.
People are impressed by attorneys. They really are.
Yeah.
They're impressed when they see.
If they only knew.
They see their friend.
Most
going.
attorneys actually are pretty impressive people.
Well, yeah.
Some of them are total douchebags. But
Yeah, some of them. Like
and there's
get to
one
their head.
there's one that's been posted, and another attorney, all she did was post the email that he sent, and then he sent another one threatening to sue and sent a cease and desist from posting my emails. It's like, dude, you don't realize email is also the internet. You send anything through the internet or post it on the internet,
Right.
it's always there. And if you send it out, it better be something reflective of you or that you're willing to do. And we've all sent out really, really dumb stuff. But the cease and desist following his other dumb letter, and all the lawyers are commenting like, does he know what the First Amendment is and like how this actually works? You can actually curse. You can use profanity as a lawyer. You can. And that's what he was complaining about this. And he was also complaining that he appeared on the day of trial. He waited till the day of trial to come in and go, I just got hired. I need to prepare for trial and I want a continuance. And the other attorney their client hadn't seen their kid in 6 months that was like kidnapped and hidden. And they needed this trial to have the kid unhidden and like given back and all this. And the attorney and the attorney was like, no, like you need to try the case now. You shouldn't have taken the case. They should have hired you sooner. They had another attorney, like all these different reasons why, like, I would love to give you this. If your client will give custody, at least like a visit for a week to my client, then we'll postpone the trial for a week or something like that. And, but they weren't willing to do that, but he needed the extra time. And normally you want to give attorneys extra time. Right. But I've had a case to where I had an attorney that came in a few days before a trial, and it was no, I'm sorry, because this is the 4th trial setting and you're the 6th attorney.
Right.
Your client's already done this twice. He's doing this in order to delay the trial because he knows he's going to lose. And he did. Big time. We got more than $1 million for our client, more than the other side.
Wow.
It was great.
Yeah.
But
well, and I think I've heard this before, but if you have a client, so if you're taking on clients and you're the 3rd attorney, you
beware.
Probably should know that.
Don't ever be if you're going to be a 5th or a 6th or something like they sound real good over the phone on that first date.
Yeah.
And then not so much.
Yeah. We actually had one not too long ago call in, and we knew I think we would have been the 4th attorney had we taken the case, and we knew the 3 other attorneys that he was complaining about.
Yeah.
We were just like,
if you complain about somebody that I know is not that attorney, I'm not taking your case.
No. No.
We wouldn't be the right lawyer for you either, because whatever you didn't like about certain people, you're not going to like about us, because we're the same.
Exactly.
So if you say that, then I'm great. We know that we're not the right firm for you. A quick no is much better than a slow no.
Right.
Like a quick no, great, we move on.
Right.
Like, no problem.
Right.
Or if you're complaining about certain other people, then I know, oh, yeah, you're actually an ideal client for us.
Right.
Because you thought that
was the way.
That approach. And it's not.
Right.
Yeah. And I get that. And if you realize, in fact, there's somebody in the room. Have you seen the Brenda episode? Yeah, she tried that. She interviewed, 16? Mm-hmm. 16?
Yeah, you were number 17.
I was number 17. And you went with me second? Or were we the second attorney or the first? Or something? I don't know. We were the second, but we were also rehired to solve the next problem. And how many next problems have we solved? Several, right?
Just 2.
Am I revealing confidential? We have to cut this? You're okay for this? Because you came on camera? I'm only speaking about what you said when you came on camera, right? So okay. Okay, good.
But I had to interview that many attorneys because they all were wanting to go after the money, and I was not willing to do that. So just explain that part.
Right.
Well, you can come back on the show and explain that part.
You explain it.
Me explain it?
Yeah, tell them, Brenda.
There were reasons why she came back, but that's not the purpose of this episode, because I want to get back to these comments.
She came back because she was trying to get a healthy approach, and she didn't want to fight, and she didn't want everything that everybody else was telling her. Like, she wanted to have a good co-parenting relationship.
Good co-parenting
right?
relationship and proper and healthy custody arrangement.
Right.
Is what she wanted, and we got that, and I think we balanced out everything quite nicely on all fronts. Absolutely.
Which is like so important.
So, did I read the whole thing? Yeah, so I read all that one. So yeah, my 3 likes. So I'm going to go back to this one. So one person says so that it's so true because remember we're talking about people going, asking you out to lunch and things. Someone, especially someone that calls and prefaces the conversation with, "I know that we haven't talked in a long time, but I need some advice. At least you get the lunch." Someone said, "Oh, this is a good one. I know we've had our differences, but you're the only one I trust with advice for my divorce." And then the attorney comments like, "Yeah, she was mean to me and talked about me behind my back, but then she needed my free advice." And my reply was, "Well, that's why you sell your consults instead of giving them away."
Right.
And that's also why you should hire somebody to answer your phones.
Right.
If they actually need legal advice about a divorce, then you have to realize like that initial meeting out in the real world, that's the same as them talking to your receptionist or your sales intake people.
Right.
The people that answer the phone and set the consultations. You're not really having the consultation there. Although what you are doing is you are allowing them to program in their own mind that whenever they think through all these thoughts, like the story that they're telling you, they're associating with you. They're going through the manual process of associating you and remembering you when that story comes up. And in similar instances, when that story comes up for them to tell again, they'll think of you and refer you to that person. You have to let that process happen.
Right.
Right? And so,
Well,
sometimes you have to hide and protect yourself from that. Like, you can't go out. It's a
Right.
little bit of like the Johnny Depp celebrity type of thing, or sometimes you can. But I like Geddy Lee's approach of how celebrity. He talks about one time when there was some fans that wanted to meet him, and they like drove by and they were out there and waiting all that time, and he just felt really bad and couldn't stop thinking about him. And this was an interview like 40 years later.
Right.
And he still remembers this. And he goes, at that moment I decided that's not who I want to be. I always have time for a fan, shake a hand, take a picture, tell them hello. That's the greatest thing and one of the best things that you can do with them. And that's also one of the reasons why Rush has the most devoted and loyal fan base in the world. Their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like Quincy Jones was there, and they announced like Quincy Jones, light applause, and then like the other people, the polite applause, and then the guy goes, and from Toronto, Canada, and the crowd just erupts, bursts,
Yeah.
and would not stop for like 5 minutes, standing ovation, cheering as if they were at a concert.
Right.
And it wasn't until they stood up and they're smiling and everything and sat down, like it was nothing like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has ever seen before. And it's because of that approach, and that's the way you have to do it, and you have to basically give. You're definitely paying forward. And when I'm in person with someone, like whatever I can give, they're getting my best if they
Right.
have me. Unless because I'll sometimes say I'm not here, I'm not listening. I'm like my mind is processing too many other things. I'm like what? And I'm not really there, or I have to like hide, or can't even really be part of a conversation. My wife gets this the most because just it's out of necessity of me figuring or thinking something out or working on a problem or something like that. And I go, so here is the script for that, which has a variation if you answer your own phone versus if someone else answers it for you. You say, "I'm happy to help you with that. You've called the right place. The first step is we have to schedule an initial consultation. The price for the consultation is $197 for telephone and $297 for in person. Which would you prefer?" And that poster, I got some love comments on that. And here is on what I just said. Here's a comment that I put about it, and I go at the part where they go, quote, "Listen, my neighbor, ... and they tell you their story. That's where they're giving you a business gift. Recognize the difference between a personal call with a friend and a business call with an acquaintance. This is a potential customer and a potential referral source. It helps grow your business. I turn every one of these type of things into a case, whether or not it's now or later."
Right.
And if I say the words soft divorce, like they'll start talking, and then if I hit them with the punchline of that, which is, or they'll ask, "What's a soft divorce?" I go, "Because divorce doesn't have to be so hard."
Yep.
And then they're like, I love,
Yeah.
it's just, and it's over and over and over and over and over and over again, almost everybody. Or they have a really painful story, and just depending, like sometimes I have to like listen to that and let them know, hey, it's really not, I can always get out of a conversation or whatever if I need to.
Right.
It's really nice to meet you if I have to go or whatever. But if I'm out in public, and especially if I'm like waiting or whatever, like I got to make conversation with somebody about, with people about something. And so I let them kind of talk about the divorce thing, or you can go to Andrew Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, like ask them about themselves and learn something. Because that's how I develop resources, and you realize, oh, wow, you're this and this. Like, you can turn it into a positive thing. You can turn it into a profitable thing. Any positive interaction that you have with another human being can be profitable. Whether it is that you just had a nice conversation, that's the profit out of it. Or maybe it's y'all can do business. Or maybe I can send them a resource that helps them.
Right.
Or give them some kind of a gift that doesn't cost me much, or that is free, or just sends them a resource, or hey, subscribe to my podcast. Like as an entrepreneur, as you have multiple sources that funnel in monetization in a variety of different ways, then the more monetization you have coming in, then the more you can give of time, advice, presence, thoughts, and experience.
Well, being genuine too. I mean, people remember someone who's genuine to them, and they want to do business with that person.
Exactly. And speaking of doing business with a person, like and subscribe to this podcast so you can get more episodes, because we're going to go through some more of these memes, and they are hilarious. And
we promise it will benefit you and help you and grow your business, or just help you personally. So keep watching.
Whether you own a law firm or whether you want to hire a law firm, whether you are healthily married or unhealthily married, whether you own any kind of business and an entrepreneur, or whether you're an employee, keep watching the Lawyer Dana podcast. And
like our page.
We will see you in the next episode.
The Lawyer Dana Podcast.